Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. On today's episode, what we're working on is a 2018 Toyota Camry, and the symptoms of this vehicle is that the ignition switch is not operating correctly. It's just getting stuck. The customer did tell us that the key is not coming out. So what I did do is buy a used ignition housing and a switch from eBay. And what I'm doing here is just go ahead and prepping up to go ahead and figure out how to disassemble this housing and switch. So now we're on the field, and what we're doing, we're actually at the customer's vehicle, and we are taking their parts off. And what we're doing is we're taking off the ignition transponder antenna, and that's what we need to do. So if you can see there, the key doesn't want to come out. It's on the accessory position where it just goes on and off, but the key doesn't come out. So what I'm doing there, since we can put it on the accessory position, we can go ahead and tab the little hole and release the ignition switch. But since the key was stuck, the antenna ring was not going to come out, so I need to disconnect the antenna ring and then bring that whole ignition switch out. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to take it out. We're trying to figure it out what's going on there. So what I'm gonna do is get my mounting tool and release the pin from the actual key. So that's what we're doing. We're just taking that little roll pin out, and then from there I'm able to take that ring, because I do need to put that ring back in the other ignition switch so this chip can connect to that ring and start the vehicle. All right, so if you can see there, I was able to remove the pin and remove the key. So now I'm able to get the new switch with the new key to go ahead and put it back in the original housing for the vehicle. So you do have to put it the same way you took it out, in the accessory position. That's how we took it out, so that's what we're doing. So now we have an ignition that works. The key functions correctly to the on position and the off position, and it comes out. So now we're gonna go ahead and assemble everything back together. We're putting the ignition coil ring back in and placing everything back together. Now what we're doing, we're gonna get the key from the new housing and we're gonna get the key cut. So what we're gonna do is cut a new key, then cloning our old key, and then we'll have a fully functional working key without programming anything to the vehicle. So that's what we're doing. We're using our Xhorse cutting machine. We're gonna trace the new housing cut. We're gonna do universal cut, and then we're gonna choose the option that looks like the key. So before I start programming the actual remote that I'm gonna give to the customer, I like to use a test key, because these keys are cheap. They cost about $1. So if you're gonna waste the key, it's better for you to waste the $1 key or the key blade that costs 25 cents. Because once you use a remote key, that's about $15 that you're gonna waste. So here we just have this $1 shell key, and we're gonna go ahead and just use this as a sample key to make sure that everything works. So here we have the Xhorse Pro Max tool, and we have the original key from the customer in the sensing coil of the Xhorse Pro Max tool. And what we did, we went to the cloning section and we hit clone. So this data is gonna get uploaded to the Xhorse servers, and then I'm able to get an Xhorse XT27 super chip and then transfer the data from the old key into the new chip. So that's what I'm doing there. You must have the hotspot or Wi-Fi on, or else it would not work. There we go. We have a successful clone. So now this chip can be put into the new shell with the new cut for the ignition switch, and then it will turn on the vehicle. So that's what we're doing. We're just putting in the chip, and we're going to test everything out before we get our remotes that we're going to program into the vehicle and turn into the customer. So through the whole process, I did have the battery disconnected because the alarm was cutting on and making a lot of noise, and it's just better just to have the battery disconnected as you're working on the vehicle. So now we're going to go ahead and test out the new key to make sure everything works. And voila, it turns on the vehicle. So now we're going to go to Auto Smart app, and we're gonna go ahead and get the information for the remote. And now we're gonna go ahead and move on and get the remotes that we're gonna go ahead and turn into the customers and start programming everything. So with the app, what it does is you search the information for the vehicle, and it gives you direct information of what type of remote it's going to use. So here I'll give you the FCC ID number, which we can just punch it into the Xhorse and narrow down the search. So that's why I bought this app. This app is $100, but you must have a Locksmith license in order for you to buy this app, or else you cannot have any access to it. So the customer does want 2 keys, so we are generating our remote PCB boards with the Xhorse Pro Max tool, and what we're going to do is clone another chip so we can have 2 working remote keys. So now what we're doing, we're putting in our XT27 super chip inside of our shell case there. And what I like to do is push in the chip all the way inside and then put some super glue on the chip so it can stay in position. Because what happens is at the end you have a loose chip, and as the customer shakes the key around, the chip can come to the down position and then it won't turn on the vehicle because the chip is loose. So I just like to put some super glue so it can stay in position. All right, so now we are programming the remote into the vehicle, but we do not have to program the chip because we have cloned the chip. So now we're using our Autel KM100. Now this is a fully functional Autel KM100. It has the old all keys lost Toyota, Ford, and GM. So I make sure that I do have those functions because it works very properly for Toyota. So that's what we're doing. We're auto venting the vehicle. Then we're collecting the data, Toyota Camry. And now we go to the control unit, and then we go to the remote section, learning. So there we go. We did have a successful program for the remote. Sometimes these Toyota remotes can be a little tricky, so just make sure you find the right correct FCC ID number, or else it will not program. You are looking to hear the 2 beeps, and that's how Toyota gives you the signal that everything's programmed, so that's good. So here we're mounting the new key switch blade together. We're putting the roll pin inside with our mounting tool, and now we have a successful flip key Toyota style. If you guys have any questions, please leave them on the comments below. You guys have a wonderful day.